Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that's going to let you make one super easily. And then you can distribute it everywhere and even earn money doing this. All in one place. And it's free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters. Here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and even edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard.
Ever since we discovered Spotify for Podcasters, it's been really great. Really get the people involved and ask questions and get ideas for new podcasts. So it's really helped us. And I highly recommend you give it a try. So download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you, sir?
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got. If you don't like what we tell you to believe in, we'll kill you.
All right, kids. Listen. Don't listen to this podcast.
Don't listen to this.
If you're not of age.
What's of age?
18.
So 16?
18. We're a bunch of dudes, and we're going to say some really bad words.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast. What up?
Yo, thanks for hanging out with us again.
That's right. Part 2 of Martin Luther King Jr.
God. I still can't get over how much of a badass that guy was.
I know, he was good. You got to go back and you got to listen to the stuff.
Yeah.
Listen to
But
the goods.
being able to do what he did with all of
At 35.
But at 35 and with 4 kids.
I know.
And just being all of the people that are threatening, fucking kill you.
No, he had a
dude,
he had a
God.
goal or like a
All that
what's
hostility.
the word? He had a
Purpose.
yeah, he had a purpose.
And nothing could stop it. It was
nothing.
so strong. He was
Yeah.
like, doesn't matter. I don't
Yep.
care.
Yeah.
And those are the type of, those are there's only a couple generational people you get.
Yeah.
Every generation who are like, no, you can't, whatever you want.
Yeah.
People will say Elon Musk is kind of the same way. It's like with making Tesla, I mean.
Yeah,
Well, Tesla did.
we're going to put him in the same category.
No, I'm saying.
No, he's not in the same category.
He's not in the
but-
same category, but a type of person because the
Yeah.
reason I say this, Tesla didn't make money for 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I
that's
would
a
have been
profit
I would have been
organization.
year 2. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Fucking peace.
No, but what I like about him is he doesn't give a shit about what people say about him
Yeah.
or talk about or who's trying to boycott him or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
It's obviously a different time, different situation,
Yeah, yeah.
and obviously he's not even in the same realm of MLK as a human being.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in 2023, he's one of those people that people are wow, holy shit, this guy is a fucking generational guy. You know,
I hear you.
they're not the same. They're not even
Not
close.
human.
Not even remotely.
Yeah, I mean,
I just want to make a
I-
statement.
Not on the
I want
humanitarian
to make
level.
a statement. They
Yeah.
are not even remotely close to the
I
same.
hear what you're saying.
But
Well, we're not going.
No, I hear the words.
you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth?
They're coming to stab you after this episode. So we got to finish the episode first, so we get the content. Then you're getting
Okay, so if you have not listened to part 1, go back.
'Cause this
listen
is-
to part 1, right? There's a story involved.
I actually forbid you. I forbid you from listening to this episode if you haven't listened to the
Stop
first one.
listening to it. Yeah, don't do it.
Don't listen to this.
Don't listen to this episode. That's right. Because we are now going into what is considered the National Archives, and it's called The Findings on the MLK Assassination. And this was what was put together by the FBI.
What a trustworthy.
Comparable to the JFK. What was that?
That's right.
Warren Commission.
The Warren Commission.
But the
very
Warren Commission
comparable.
was held by, as a congressional thing. And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah.
So you remember we had talked about in the previous episode, one of the biggest investigations to
Ever.
that date.
Yeah. And
To-
$2 million, 3,200
Yeah,
investigators.
Yeah,
exactly. And this
35, yeah.
this is the result and the report of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So as I go through this, as you guys do, go ahead and shoot the holes.
Oh, I will.
And,
That's my only that's my purpose here. To literally make Eric wrong.
Yeah, this one I didn't write. Right? This is taken from
This is
from it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and it starts off with a short bio of James Earl Ray.
Oh yeah, sure. Like that's why I like when we did the JFK. I liked going back into Lee Harvey because I was like, this is the weirdest fucking guy I could have ever imagined. He's like a fucking character. He's a cartoon character.
And when you guys have time, go listen to the JFKs because we did 5 hours.
Yeah, I feel
JFK.
So
Those
much
are good. Those were one of our most popular ones too.
Yeah, and very in depth and that sort of thing. So, here we go. James Earl Ray.
Yes.
James Earl Ray was born on March 10th, 1928 in Alton, Illinois. The Ray family moved a few miles to Missouri in Bowling Green in 1930. 5 years later, they moved to another town in Missouri where Ray received his elementary school education. Thumbs up.
And that's the last schooling he ever did.
At age 16, Ray moved back to Alton, where he lived with his grandmother. He worked in the dye room of the International Shoe Tannery in East Hartford, Illinois.
Wow, what happened? We're in a fucking shoe tannery.
In December of 1945, he was laid off.
Dude, what if he worked at? It seems like he worked at the same place that the dad from Jumanji fucking ran.
The shoe place?
The shoe place in Illinois?
Yeah. I mean,
that's a weird, I know it's like a weird drop there, but
it's in the Jumanji universe.
This is
It's in the Jumanji universe. Yeah, that's right.
At the shoe tannery.
Yeah. But now here's the weird part, okay? So he was laid off in December of 45. Now, if you know your history a little bit, that's the end of the war. Yeah, that's the end of World War II, right? He was 6 weeks later, he then decided, I'm going to enlist in the army. At the end of the war.
Well, smart play.
The biggest war of all time.
He didn't get drafted, so he's like,
right.
I'm going to enlist.
Yeah, that's right. So he decided
all
to
the guys come back and they're like fucking bitches, and he's like, I'm going to enlist.
Yeah. So he joins the army, and he was then stationed in West Germany, where he was discharged a couple years later due to drunkenness and breaking arrest and ineptitude and lack of adaptability.
Too many Hefeweizens.
So he was discharged in December of 1948.
Being a drunk asshole.
Yes. And he contributed nothing to the war.
He contributed nothing to anything, actually.
Can you imagine joining the war December 45? Hey guys!
They're like, we did it!
Hey, V for victory!
I know, there's like fucking parades and shit. And he's like, I did it!
Hey-oh! Yeah.
They're like, how do you have there's no badges. There's nothing on your shirt.
Yeah, anyways. So after his discharge, Ray returned to stay with his grandmother in Alton, Illinois. And he embarked upon a life of odd jobs and many, many jail sentences.
Solid.
So he worked for a place called Dryden Rubber. He was laid off in 49. He then went to LA. He was arrested because he robbed a cafe.
Dude, this guy's serial robber.
Yep. He was sentenced to 90 days. He then did his time, and then he was released in LA in the spring of 50. He traveled back to Illinois where he worked until 52. Then he decided he needed to rob another place. So he robbed a cab driver of $12 in 1952.
That's pretty low.
He was found guilty of that and incarcerated at the state penitentiary in Joliet and later state prison farm in Pontiac until he was released in 54. Ray then moved to Quincy, Illinois in 1955.
Quincy's a super small. I have
really?
One of my,
you know the peeps?
Yeah, one of my clients is in Quincy.
Really?
In Quincy, Illinois. It's like Quincy, it's a really small town, and then like they're about 50 minutes from St. Louis. So like they're near the Missouri border.
Yeah.
So March 7th, 1955, Ray and an accomplice named Walter broke into a post office.
Dude, he's like a serial fucking criminal. Jesus.
He stole 66 postal money orders, as well as a validating stamp.
Oh, to valid.
He's like, bro, we can validate shit.
Validate your
Steal the stamp.
Maybe that's like all those passports.
Yeah,
validate the shit.
Yeah, we'll steal the stamp so we can validate shit going forward. Insane.
Switch the samples.
The two men fled to Miami, but then were, of course, arrested in Missouri on their way back.
They keep going back to the scene.
Yeah. He was arrested. He pled guilty to the robbery. And on July 1st, 1955, he was sentenced to 45 months in Leavenworth.
Damn. Okay, it's 45 months.
So in 1959,
4
Probably
years.
federal. You know, like
yeah.
if you're like,
And it, dude,
it
you
is
touch-
federal
it is
penitentiary.
You touch,
It's a federal penitentiary.
You touch somebody's mail. It's
Post
federal,
office,
federal,
man.
federal
Yeah,
offense.
you steal a stamp?
Federal
You
offense.
steal-
45 months for
Yeah,
you.
45 months. Plus, it's like strike 8.
I know.
Yeah,
Plus,
that's
it's
true.
like they're literally like,
he's-
it's your 7th felony. Like Jesus, put him in prison.
He was paroled from Leavenworth in 1959. He then decided that later on in the year, he decided to rob 2 grocery
I'm
stores
just gonna rob another place.
in St. Louis and one in Alton. He was eventually captured for the St. Louis robbery in 1959, and then he began serving a 20-year sentence at Missouri State Penitentiary.
Jesus Christ.
During his time, he attempted to escape in 1961 and in 1966. Following the second escape attempt, he was examined at a state hospital to see his capacity, like his mental capacity, of which he was determined capable of standing trial. April 23rd, 1967. Okay. He escaped from Missouri State Penitentiary.
This guy's like Sean Connery in The Rock.
But that's when he escaped.
Oh, he's like, I'm out.
Fully. Like he got out. And over the following 12 months, he traveled between Chicago, Montreal, Birmingham, LA, Atlanta. And on April 1968, he posed as John Willard, and he rented a room near the Lorraine Motel.
Ooh.
And that day is when MLK Jr. was assassinated from the second floor balcony.
Okay, so they're saying that he had been on the run for a year, and then happens.
He was an escaped prisoner.
There's no way he escapes prison. He's like, MLK is gonna die. Like I just don't think that's on his mind. Instead of I need to not get caught and go back to prison.
That's right.
As opposed to like I have to kill Martin
So
Luther Jr.
after a lot of the podcasts I listened to and a lot of the audiobooks and stuff like that, there was one argument that was brought up at this point, which was you're an escaped convict, right? So usually escaped convicts, they go away from things
they're avoiding
high traffic
Yeah,
things.
it's like-
Okay. MLK is what?
the highest traffic
profile.
I know,
Top
it's like-
5?
dude. At top
I
one.
mean, of RFK,
Yeah, but like at this
Lyndon
time-
B. Johnson.
At that time.
No, but at
he was
that
the
time,
top-
it's
he's
the
top
most.
top 5.
It's the most controversial, most talked about, most fucking like.
You go stay into a rooming house next door.
Wait, but did he know that, or he just happened to find
I
that
mean,
out when he
that's
was
the
there?
argument.
they're saying that he planned
that
it.
he went there.
Yeah, and then somehow he's able to acquire a weapon.
But the,
Like
the
a
argument
fucking-
against it is what kind of escaped convict does this?
No, zero.
No.
In the
You know what I
history
mean?
of escaped convicts, 0 of them do this.
Yeah. Because also MLK was escorted by Memphis police everywhere.
Oh, for sure.
So he had police. You remember the timeline of his death?
Yeah.
He went to the hospital within
Oh,
like
police
12 minutes.
and a police escort, or the police escort to
That's
the
right.
hospital. Yeah,
That means that there were police watching.
they were there. They were probably staying.
Dude,
in the,
yeah.
they were
like,
staying
how
in the
else-
same.
how else do you do that so
They're staying
fast?
in the same boarding house
Yeah.
that fucking he's staying.
Do
at.
you remember the episode we did on Princess Diana?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
It took an hour and a half
Oh, dude, fuck yeah, then.
Yeah.
for the princess.
I know she's like a fucking. She's the most important person in the whole country. Like, and they're like, "Well, traffic's
So
traffic."
the
What do you want
point
us to
being
do?
is the point being is that there's cops everywhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so why would an escaped convict go to the hot spot?
It's also like,
essentially?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but like, how would an escaped convict have the means to like plan this whole fucking murder?
Yeah.
Escape.
Yeah. So there we go. And so on May 7th, 1968, the Shelby County Criminal Court named James Earl Ray in the indictment for the first-degree murder of Dr. Martin Luther King. The international manhunt happened. We went over that in the last episode.
Yep.
And it culminated in him being arrested at Heathrow Airport in London and then extradited back to Memphis. Yeah. Of which, remember, he pled guilty.
And then he
And
recanted,
then he recanted it.
the.
That's right.
I want to know, where did this whole Rhodesia thing come from? Is that something he had said?
That's where he says, and that's where his tickets showed that he was going.
Okay, I didn't know if that was like someone just like
No.
guesstimated that, like, oh, he's trying to go to Rhodesia for, the racist fucking Hall of Fame. I don't
No,
know.
it's a good question, and there's some conjecture of why he was going there.
Yeah.
A majority of the evidence is just that he had tickets there and he was trying to get on that boat.
Okay.
And it was just constantly like trying to get there.
I'd actually be interested to see if like, maybe like, what if like Rhodesia was like a no extradition state?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. So with Ray's background, his criminal record, his trial, his conviction, his escape, everybody in the country was like, this is the guy.
Well, and which I don't.
He's an escape convict.
I mean, like
a psychopath. Oh, we got him. We extradited him from another country. You know, like that became a trial by media.
And I don't blame them because like, look at his track. Look at his rap sheet. I mean, my God. I mean, the guy is like a career criminal.
Yeah.
So it's an easy slam dunk case.
Yeah.
But it's fishy.
So the FBI says that they did an exhaustive. They use the word exhaustive investigation.
Yeah, they exhausted a lot of funds. Fucking a lot of taxpayer money.
But here's what they say, and this is how they define exhaustive: is 20 days of public hearings, 3 days of testimony of Ray himself, right, and then no trial.
Oh, exhaustive.
No trial?
No trial.
You know what's exhaustive? 2,500 public speaking events. That's fucking exhaustive.
Yeah, that's right.
True that.
And MLK did a fucking smile on his face.
So here are the results of the investigation and the committee that determined that James Earl Ray fired the shot that killed Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Then they do it in summary bullet points.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is there's 7 points.
So we'll go through the points and then we'll talk
And then
about
each one.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. Point 1. Dr. King was killed by one shot fired from in front of him.
Okay, so he's on the balcony.
He's on the balcony.
And so he's got, okay.
One shot. Now, point number 2. The shot that killed Dr. King was fired from the bathroom window at the rear of a rooming house, which was basically across the way at 422 Half South Street, Memphis, Tennessee.
But I thought it hit him like in the right side of the neck, like in the neck.
That's right, it did.
Oh,
Yeah, in the
like
last
through here,
episode,
or
you said it was the neck
and
the
face. In the face, yeah.
So maybe it was the face.
A little
and
bit
neck.
downward.
It seems like it was like right
A little
downward.
bit down. A little bit
But then it
downward.
wasn't.
No, if it cut the neck or
The neck through the face.
Well, he was on a balcony, so he's got a shot.
A tiny bit of an upward angle.
Yeah, so it's like
Tiny
here,
bit
like,
of a side, I was thinking.
Yeah, like from the side, but up to the side, like
Yeah.
through here, and then like out through the
Okay.
fucking jar or
Alright.
some shit.
Yep. Okay. Point number 3. James Earl Ray purchased the rifle that was used to shoot Dr. King and transported it from Birmingham, Alabama to Memphis, Tennessee, where he rented a room at the 422 South Main Street. And moments after the assassination, he dropped it near 424 South Main Street.
But the thing is that the gun was purchased under supposedly one of his aliases.
That's right, correct.
Supposedly.
Correct? Yep.
So that's a little...
And where was it purchased? I forget. Do you remember?
It was in Birmingham.
Oh, was it like
at
a fucking fish and
Aero
supply-
Marine
Yeah.
Co.
But in Alabama, right?
in Alabama, Birmingham.
Yeah.
No, but it is...
Under a different name.
Under a different name, under an alias. I mean, it's similar. This is the JFK assassination playbook right here.
Yeah.
He literally did the same
They
thing.
learned.
Fucking Macy's.
They learned,
Macy's
right?
catalog under a different name.
I know, they
Macy's
learned.
catalog.
He did. He got the shittiest gun in the world from a Macy's catalog. Like,
Yep,
literally.
true.
And I was just thinking too. I was like, obviously, supposedly, Lee Harvey Oswald was a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Right.
This escaped convict guy's never shot a gun in his whole fucking life.
Well, you don't know.
Oh, he's
that.
in
You
the
don't know
army.
that.
He's in the army.
Yeah, but he was drunk the whole time. He was
True.
like,
I mean, we have beer cans.
He did not fire
We
a
have
shot.
beer cans.
That's
It's true.
that's the only consistent thing with this.
Yeah,
The beer
that's
cans. That's only consistency.
Point number 4 of the committee. It is highly probable that James Earl Ray stalked Dr. King for a period immediately preceding the assassination.
Highly probable when he's on the run from the.
Exactly.
Correct.
When he's on the run, he's like,
Very
I think
correct.
I'll do some stalking.
Very correct. Point
Of
number
the most famous man in the world.
While he's surrounded by police.
I know, literally.
He's
While
very-
wanted.
he's
Stalk
totally
his
right.
ass.
He's totally right. Point number 5. James Earl Ray fled the scene of the crime immediately after the assassination.
Supposedly, he could have already
I
been
mean,
on.
that would make sense.
No, but the thing is,
he,
like,
he fled right
sure.
away.
No, but the thing
He's
is,
not
like,
gonna stick around.
no.
They didn't. They just said there was a young white male.
Yeah.
Right? There was never that was the only description given. But my thing, he was already on the run anyways.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be weird that he was already like trying to get into a different state.
Totally.
So I'm saying that there is a possibility that he was already like leaving.
He wasn't running, but he was just on the move
Well,
anyways.
he was already running. He's running.
He's been running for a
He's been
year.
running from the cops for a year.
Yeah.
He's still running. He
True.
never stopped running.
True. I
Yeah.
like that. I like that, yeah. Okay, point number 6. James Earl Ray's alibi for the time of the assassination, his story of a man named Raoul, and basically the evidence is not worthy of belief.
I mean, I understand that. It doesn't seem worthy of belief at all. It seems so like total bullshit.
Okay, and the final
Raoul.
Yeah, the final point, number 7, James Earl Ray knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily pled guilty to the first-degree murder of Dr. MLK.
But then he said no.
See, my thing is like, I get it.
So those are the 7 points.
It's really easy if you're that dude and they're like, they're going to put you to death if you don't plead guilty. They'll kill you right now. You'll be fucking dead.
And you remember he went through 2 attorneys and they were like, you're not going to make it.
But then he gets Jesse Jackson, the fucking civil rights attorney, and he's like, he didn't do it. That's when I was, ooh.
Yeah, and the
Like,
wife.
And Coretta's, he didn't do it.
Coretta's like,
I mean, that's like
to this day.
I mean, those are 2 most credible motherfuckers you could
That's a good point.
Unless Al Sharpton comes out and he's like, he didn't do it. I'm like, oh my God.
So there you go. Those are the 7 points of the investigation.
That was our exhaustive
Those are
7-point bulletin.
Yeah, and obviously they're trying to
cost
be
us $2 million.
Exhaustive.
They're trying to be succinct, where they put it in the points and stuff.
know.
So let's just take them up one by one.
Sure.
Okay, take one by one, right? So the first one was Dr. King was killed by one shot fired from in front of him.
Which is odd because if it
Now,
went
if
through
you
his
see the
neck and his
photos-
face, it's hard to like.
If you see the photos, this is not a John F. Kennedy shot. This is
Meaning what?
Meaning it's not far.
Oh, okay.
No.
There's you remember those hotels where you would pull up your car?
Yeah.
They still exist, but
The
you know,
motels.
they're motels.
Yeah.
Yeah, you drive up and you know there's the balcony and blah, blah, blah. That's what it was.
But my thing
No,
is,
no, no.
They're standing on the balcony.
That's where MLK was, but
Yeah,
where
and
was
then
the
there's
shooter?
a building just on the next to it.
Oh, okay.
behind
It's
the
not like
parking
it's
lot.
across the street.
No, this is a shot you or I could make.
Okay.
Yeah, very easy to do.
What are you trying to say about my shot?
no, but no. Here's the thing: it's like, remember.
Have you fired a gun?
Dude, I'm a great shot.
Just kidding.
My thing is like, remember when we were going through? Obviously, we're referencing JFK a lot, but
Yeah.
remember that when Lee Harvey Oswald attempted to kill the general.
Yeah.
And he
yeah.
was like,
I know.
38
Most
feet
people
away,
don't know
like
that.
38
Isn't that
feet away,
crazy?
and he like
Yeah.
misses.
Yeah.
Like, and he's a sharpshooter. He like misses, and the guy's like sitting in the window, like,
Yeah.
kill me.
Yeah.
Like,
and then the
can't do it.
JFK shot is like 1 in a million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the window, through the tree,
I know,
while
yeah,
he's moving.
literally motion.
Yeah. There's like a tornado.
Yeah, the most
Adrenaline, like, to
the
the max.
statistically most inaccurate gun ever manufactured. Like, it's like
Everybody's doing magic fingers. Fucked up. Okay, so, let's just take this up. Killed by one shot fired from in front of him. So he was staying at the Lorraine Motel, and he was on the balcony of room 306 with Dr. Ralph Abernathy. He was struck by the bullet at 6:01, leading to his mortal wound. Dr. Jerry Francisco of the medical examiner conducted the autopsy, and he determined that King's death resulted from a single gunshot wound to the chin and neck, affecting the spinal cord.
Oh, damn.
oh, okay.
Okay. Critics questioned the thoroughness of the autopsy, leading to a panel of forensic pathologists reviewing the evidence. The panel concluded that Dr. Francisco did not dissect the bullet's path during the autopsy due to concerns about the body's deformity and the funeral.
Oh, so he didn't want to get in there and dig and
Fuck it
or
all.
because they were
or-
going to have an open casket,
That's
I guess.
right. Yeah, that's right. And you can actually see photos of the funeral and he's open casket.
Well, maybe Mr. Francisco is Raoul. He didn't want to dissect the path.
But those extra forensic pathologists also confirmed the accuracy of at least that a single gunshot did kill him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bullet entered Dr. King's face, fracturing the jaw, exiting the lower face, re-entering the neck, and causing severe damage to vital arteries in the spine. The forensic pathology panel determined that the wounds matched a Remington Peters bullet fired from high-velocity rifle at a distance.
Okay.
The committee concluded that Dr. King's death resulted from one shot fired from in front of him.
Makes
So this leads into point 2, which is that the shot was fired from the window at the rear of a rooming house, which was across the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Forensic pathology couldn't provide precise directional trajectory data.
Okay, so they
So
didn't know
they
like
can't say he
what
was, like-
angle he was shot at
Yeah.
from.
And this was due to the lack of bullet path dissection during the autopsy.
He could have been shot from like a helicopter.
Yeah.
No.
Like literally.
And part of the
Well,
problem
no, it
is
had to come from like in front. Well, we know it was in front of him.
yeah.
Helicopters can be in front.
Yeah, but it wasn't from the top down.
We don't know. There was no precise trajectory. The fucking analysis.
Okay, fine. There's no helicopter, Sean.
Also, what they're saying is that they didn't know if he was like this.
Yeah.
They didn't know if he was like this.
Yeah.
They didn't know if he was like this, or if his arms were up, or if he.
Yeah.
Who knows what he was doing at the exact moment?
Which I think is important information.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, right?
I mean, look, if they can provide, like, what if the actual trajectory of the bullet was from like over here, and like they're like, well, how could he be in his apartment and shoot him from way? You know what I'm saying? It could put some holes.
Here's
into
the only
thing.
part that is a little confusing to me. The autopsy panel suggested the shot came from Dr. King's right and above, and it was consistent with a downward trajectory.
Would it be right and above?
So
So
like
if he's
over there,
looking
up.
out over the balcony,
Yes.
the shot came from right and above. So
that means
it
he was like
downwards.
on the roof.
Yeah, so it's
like-
downwards.
See, that's my point. I'm like,
that's the
if
confusing part.
if he's in his thing and he like dips down the alleyway, it's not like he could be like up and he's like.
That's
"Gotta
the
take this
confusing part
ladder
because,
down."
because you remember in the
Right.
first episode we talked about how it was up
Up, yeah.
almost.
Yes.
It was a little bit up. And
That's
so
what
they
I
can't
would think.
determine,
He was on a balcony.
yeah, but they keep saying we didn't know if he was like laughing up.
But it still wouldn't be. It wouldn't come from an upward trajectory. You know.
Well, we don't. To your point,
Or
we
maybe
don't
he
know
was
the
like,
trajectory.
maybe he was doing a
We don't
hand,
know-
he was doing a handstand.
Yeah.
And the bullet
No, but to your point, like we don't know the trajectory
We don't
because they
know.
didn't fucking
Yeah.
study that
I know
shit.
because they were like, oh, we can't, we shouldn't do it.
So Kugel and Poole's engineering used scientific measurements to analyze the crime scene, of which witnesses testified that Dr. King was on the balcony, but the survey suggested possible locations for the assassin, such as the bathroom window or in the bushes, etc. But the problem is all the eyewitnesses changed their stories.
That's why
And it
eyewitnesses
wasn't-
are not
I
reputable.
know, so if you do 100 witnesses, each
You
of
get like
them
98
kind of
different stories.
say
Yeah,
a
it's like-
little different. Yeah, exactly.
I heard 2 shots.
Yes. Additional evidence like indentation in a bathroom windsill and a scuff marks in the bathtub suggested the bathroom as a potential firing location. However, the
That's
committee
loose.
couldn't
Yeah,
confirm or deny the cause of the indentation or eliminate alternative possibilities. So they just said, we can't confirm.
I'm sorry.
that."
It's a motel. There's
Yes,
indentations everywhere. The whole thing is a fucking indentation.
So while the scientific evidence alone didn't pinpoint where the assassin was located, the combination of witness testimony and scientific data suggested that it was the rear of the rooming house as a likely firing location,
Okay, that's fine.
leading them to conclude that the shot that killed Dr. King was from the bathroom window.
I would like to see. I wish I had like a little model.
I know.
Where I could see.
Well, we
like,
are going
where-
to post some photos, and it does give you a little bit more
like a in
visual,
like a scope.
yeah,
of like
where
what's
he
happening.
was shot, how he was shot. Because what's funny enough is he stayed there the night before, and there's a picture of him on the balcony in the same spot.
Picture of MLK.
MLK.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's just the day before.
Yeah.
and it's just kind of eerie,
Oh yeah.
because he was doing the same thing. He was like leaning over,
Fuck.
and that sort of thing. Point number 3, James Earl Ray purchased a rifle that was used to shoot Dr. King, transported it from Birmingham, Alabama to Memphis, where he rented a room at South Main Street, and moments after the assassination, he dropped it near 424. Remember the bundle? He dropped like an
I mean, it's
idiot.
sort of like a care package,
Yeah.
like evidence package.
Yeah.
Here's this evidence, package of evidence.
Here's my fingerprint. Here's my semen. Here's everything that you need
beer I drink,
right
by the
here.
way.
It's a little like jizz in like a little napkin and like fold it up like neatly.
I'm gonna think the FBI needs this.
It's also like I also was thinking, I was like, man, it's back in this time, back in the
oh yeah,
you could. It's amazing what you could do with $0. You
Right.
could fucking travel the country,
know.
rent millions of hotels, like buy weapons,
and you have like 8 names.
and you have no, no
John.
money. You can get infinite passports. It's just like, what the fuck is going
Man,
on?
the good old days.
I literally, it's like
Get away with
I have
anything.
I have a hard time getting through TSA.
I know.
and I have all the proper documentation.
Yeah. So Dr. King was killed per the reports and per the autopsy and all that stuff. He was killed by a Remington Peters 30-06 rifle. And the committee found that James Earl Ray purchased this rifle on March 30th, 1968 in Birmingham, Alabama. The rifle found moments after the assassination in front of the Canopies Amusement Company matched the type that could have fired the fatal bullet.
I love how they had like could.
They literally put could.
There's like they can't give you.
Yeah.
We're not sure.
Yeah.
it's possible.
Ray did admit to buying a 30-06 rifle, which was corroborated by witnesses who were at the gun shop, the Aero Marine. Ray used an alias named Harvey Lohmeyer during the rifle purchase and the name John Willard to rent the room at the rooming house. He rented room 5B, which offered a view of the Lorraine Motel. Witnesses saw a man fitting Ray's description fleeing with a bundle in hand that may or may not have contained a rifle.
I mean, fitting his description, it's like white man.
The bundle.
That's him.
The bundle was then recovered by police and contained a rifle, ammunition, and all those other items that we talked about.
I know,
in
like
episode
a
1.
couple beer cans,
Yes.
blood sample.
So here's what they found in the bundle. The committee confirmed that Ray's fingerprints were on the rifle.
Of course.
They were on the binoculars.
Of course.
They were also on a Schlitz beer can. Right?
Delicious.
And then remember he had a newspaper?
Yeah.
And the newspaper was like perfectly open to Dr. King's Hotel.
So stupid.
And the fingerprints were on there.
And meanwhile, he's like fleeing the law.
Yeah,
I just
that's right.
can't get over it. I just can't not think about that.
A firearms panel examined the ballistics, but they couldn't conclusively link the rifle to the fatal shot.
No fucking way.
And this is the
They
biggest.
couldn't match the rifling.
So this is the biggest thing that they couldn't match.
How can they match the rifling?
Because they said that the bullet in MLK's body was too deformed to match it up to the
rifling.
That's
bullshit.
What? That's fucking bullshit.
But later on in a testimony, one of the lawyers said that the bullet was fine.
Okay.
Yeah, according to the lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, of course they're going to say that. I don't know.
This is sketch.
So
this
this
is so
this
sus.
is this is the biggest conflict in this case.
It's like
There's no ballistics.
And you would think that like you would
They
think
found the rifle, and then they had the guy, and he was shot, and the bullet was in his body. How else do you want it?
I mean literally like,
what else
What
do
else
you
do you
want? Yeah.
need?
you would think that they would just be like, yeah, it was a match. I think it's like everything's right there. They think they're just like shoot one into like a water ball pit and like, oh, here it is. It's or remember the JFK like they dropped the bullet on the thing. Whoops,
On the stretcher.
Whoops, it is
Whoopsie-daisy.
it. Find the bullet.
It's a perfect bullet.
It's a match. I know it's like still. It's not even fired. It's just like like in the game. They're like, this is it.
We didn't find fingerprints, but we found Lee Harvey's semen on it, on the bullet.
Lee Harvey's semen on the bullet. He had to do it. The bullet was mangled, but the semen was intact.
Fucking insane. It's fucking ridiculous. A firearms panel examined the ballistics, but they couldn't conclusively link the rifle to the shot.
It's so sketch.
However, they determined that the rifle could have been the one that fired it. They
I mean,
they wouldn't count it out.
But the thing is, if you actually look like how many rifles could, the number is probably so dramatic. It's like this and 2.5 million other rifles could have fired the shot.
There you go. So, and then this is what they say. Now, keep in mind, remember, I'm reading this from the committee's report. Yeah? Combining the evidence, including Ray's admission of guilt, fingerprints, witness testimony, and the possibility of that rifle being the one that fired the fatal shot, the committee concluded that Ray bought the rifle, transported it to Memphis, shot Dr. King, and then abandoned the murder weapon at the scene.
But he waited till he was 3 states away to get rid of his film equipment. Like, with that nothing to do with the murder. It doesn't make any sense.
True.
It's so stupid.
Very true.
He literally like dumps his film equipment legit like 3 states
He's
away.
like, wait a minute. I got my rifle and my semen in one hand, and then I got my Canon photo in my other hand. Okay, let's dump the semen.
Let's dump the semen in
Let's dump the semen, and then we'll take this to cross state lines.
It makes no sense. It's like, especially from a dude who's escaped prison like 6 times.
Dude.
You think he would have like a little bit of brain power?
He is
Like,
all about escape.
Like,
He's
I know.
all about escape. Okay, point 4. And they say it is highly probable that James Earl Ray stalked Dr. King for a period immediately preceding the assassination.
I know it's like this is all like hearsay. It's
Evidence-
highly probable.
I know,
I mean, it's like,
Immediately,
Evidence
like, so what?
proceeding,
A,
before.
a couple hours, like,
Well,
you
let's-
know,
let's-
that's not
let's-
that's a good
stalking.
Let's
point.
jump
Yeah.
into
No,
it.
it's not
Evidence-
stalking unless it's consistent.
Evidence suggested that Ray likely pursued Dr. King from LA to Atlanta and eventually to Memphis.
L.A. What?
The stalking
That
likely
doesn't make
began
any
around
sense.
March of 68 when Ray left Los Angeles. Ray's decision to leave California was planned as he had discussed his travel plans with acquaintances from the bartending school and submitted a change of address with forwarding address to Atlanta before leaving LA.
Wait. Hold up. He submitted change of address while on the run from police. He escaped prison. And he submitted a change of address? He's like, oh, forward my mail.
That's true. It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't
He
make
literally
sense.
escaped prison, went to bartending school. Like, what the fuck
That's
is
true. Why
what
do you
the fuck
change
is
your
going-
address
He does-
while you're escaped from prison?
He submits a change of address.
I just want to get my ID.
Like,
But no, he did it under an alias.
what, you sure? Does it say that?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I mean, now you're just adding
We're
in.
assuming.
I'm assuming he did that.
I mean, this guy
I'm
was the king of
assuming.
alias.
Yeah,
know.
I'm
But you're-
assuming he did that under an alias.
But you're
It
saying-
doesn't say in
That's
the
a good
report.
assumption. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't
But
say in the report.
But it is sound a little funny. The guy literally escaped prison. He's like, yeah, I'm going to need forward my mail.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to deal with the DMV and shit.
It's like change of address.
You're an escaped convict.
I know. It's like, he's like, I still got 2 weeks left in my bartending school.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Insane. Although Ray denied knowing he was going to Atlanta, evidence indicated his interest in tracking Dr. King's activities.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
What evidence?
Not
They
buying it.
they say here probable stalking continued when Ray went to Selma, Alabama, of which there was a famous march where Dr.
Yeah.
King was there, which
Selma,
is Selma,
yeah.
Alabama. So Ray explained for being in Selma was deemed unconvincing as it deviated from logical travel routes, and he just made up an excuse to be in Selma, of which the investigation states that he was actually just stalking.
Well, I mean, just as a point, I mean, the guy clearly never takes logical travel routes.
Yeah.
Going to London and Brussels and fucking, like, I mean, the guy's fucking all over the
Yeah.
place. The guy's,
Yeah.
But my thing is, like, still, I just, there's not,
Consistency.
It's all over the map.
no,
It's all over the map.
There has been not one definitive piece of evidence. Everything is
That he's there.
Everything is probable. It could have been the gun.
that he's there, or that he was like
No, the-
stalking him and planning
No,
this.
Yeah.
that's the fact that he was there is the only thing that's supposedly proven. Everything else is he was probably stalking him. Probable, highly probable. The gun.
A lot of the stuff is
the
probable.
gun might have been used. There's not one like
I know.
Can
It's
they
crazy,
give,
isn't
They
it?
can't give one
that's
like hard
why-
piece of evidence.
think
That's
about this
why
back
this
in the
episode
day, too.
exists, because that's why the conspiracy is there, is because it's the most slipshod.
It would be way different.
Yeah, but
prosecution.
think about this also back in the day. Like, there's not like today where you have so much like.
That's true.
But dude, they were convicting motherfuckers with he did it back in the day too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
And the fact that like they didn't have one thing, they could have just been like,
Yeah.
If they were like, it was the rifle, that would even make a huge difference. He bought it.
This was
and like
probably the rifle.
probably he was probably stalking him. Probably.
Let's make the most educated guess. Fuck it. Let's just put him in 9 years.
We're gonna put him in the
Like,
maybe, in the maybe category. We're gonna go maybe.
So the committee concluded that Ray did return to Atlanta based on evidence, including a payment to his landlord and different laundry receipts. Ray likely left Atlanta for Memphis after learning the news
Likely.
that Dr. King intended to go to Memphis.
He likely left because likely.
In Memphis, Ray checked into a motel called the New Rebel on April 3rd. He later moved to a rooming house that was adjacent to Lorraine Motel.
Okay.
See, why would you do that?
Because he's on the run from the police.
Why would you do that when you had a newspaper too saying that this is where MLK
Why can't you
was
just
going
stay
to
at the same hotel room, motel room?
Wait, what? Say that?
Why wouldn't you just stay at the same motel
Because he had a
room?
newspaper that said MLK was staying at the Lorraine Hotel.
Exactly.
So why wouldn't he just stay there in the first place? I guess is the question.
Yeah. Why wouldn't he just like go there? Yeah. Instead, he's like, I'm gonna throw him off the sand.
Throw him off the set.
And I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave all the evidence on the ground.
Yeah, and he's like, by the way, I'm an escaped convict for a year.
I know. It's like literally, he's a mastermind, and he's like, leave
Does that
all
happen?
the evidence
By
at
the
the
way,
scene.
by the way, does that happen nowadays?
The what?
People escape from prison and we don't know about it?
Fuck no. No one
No, I
fucking
don't think
escapes
so.
from
When was the last
prison
time you
anymore.
heard, like,
No.
Never.
like, this dude has escaped from prison?
Yeah. I mean, no.
Never. So the committee found compelling evidence of Ray's intent to monitor Dr. King's movements. Ray selected a room at the rooming house offering a view of the Lorraine Hotel. He purchased binoculars on April 4th.
Well, wait, sorry. You say he selected the room. Do we have? Is that proven? Did he actually select the room, or they were? You're in room 5B. Fucking get the fuck out of my face.
We don't know that. We don't know
that would be a big thing if he
Yeah,
actually
no, that's a
picked
good
the
point.
room with the view.
That's a
it
good point.
adds it adds more like
That's a
he's
good point.
actually making them.
I feel like this was dived into, and I don't have the data on.
They were like,
to be
he
honest.
probably
I
picked
feel
the
like-
room.
I feel like I did.
Probably.
Yeah, I feel like I did read about this, and I don't remember that information. But that's
Okay.
That's a good point. It's a really good point. Yeah. Ray selected a room at the rooming house offering a view of the Lorraine. He purchased binoculars on April 4th. Circumstantial evidence suggests that Ray tracked Dr. King's movements from LA to Memphis, indicating
Circumstantial.
indicating prep for the assassination. And that's the end of point 4.
This is.
Circumstance, dude. I literally this entire thing is avoid being sued.
Yeah.
Like this entire thing is literally don't say anything was actually happening.
Point 5. James Earl Ray fled the scene of the crime immediately after the assassination. The committee concluded that James Earl Ray shot Dr. King from the bathroom window on the second floor of the north wing of Bessie Brewer's rooming house. After the shooting, Ray fled the building carrying the bundle containing a weapon and other items.
Wait,
He dropped it.
Well, hold on, because I was looking at the pictures of the hotel where he's staying at. Okay, so if he shot him from the second balcony or the second floor,
Yeah.
and Dr. King was on the balcony, then where does the upward trajectory
I
come
know.
in?
Correct.
Because the balcony that, if you see the
They
pictures,
would
the
be
balcony of
almost same
MLK,
level.
yeah, exactly,
Right?
it was like
It'd be
same
same
level.
level.
But they were saying we don't know what the trajectory was. We
don't know.
We don't know if it was up, down,
know.
even. Like,
And we don't know if he was leaning back.
Yeah, we don't
if
know.
he was leaning
We-
forward.
we
But we
no.
can, at least according to this, we can say that he was in the second floor. MLK
oh, so his
in the
room was
second
in the
floor.
second floor.
His room
Yes.
was on the second floor.
But
Second
how
floor,
the
second
fuck
floor.
did he get to the alleyway without no one seeing him like dip? You know what I'm saying? He's like right there. He's like, like what the fuck?
All right, keep going.
After the shooting, Ray fled from the building carrying a bundle containing the weapon and other items. He dropped it in the entranceway of the Canopies Amusement Company evidence.
He
Indicated
dropped it at the feet of MLK.
There you go, guys.
And then he ran.
indicated that Ray then drove north in a small white car identified later as a white Mustang. And the police radio broadcast shortly after the assassination described a white Mustang with a single white occupant as the suspect that was fleeing the scene.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of loose though. Single white occupant. That's literally it's like
so you put aside
Ray is the one that said he had a getaway driver.
true.
He said
He said he was
yeah.
getaway driver.
Or yeah.
Yeah. So take all the other things that were occurring. Then Ray apparently drove for 11 hours from Memphis to Atlanta, where he abandoned the car, picked up laundry,
What that he had like chilling there, like waiting?
hastily packed belongings at Garner's rooming house, and then fled north to Canada. Ray's flight alone provided substantial corroboration for his involvement in the assassination. During interviews in a public hearing, Ray denied being at the rooming house when the shot was fired, but admitted leaving Memphis in the Mustang shortly after 6.
Okay.
Ray claimed that while returning from a service station, he saw a police roadblock near the rooming house, leading to his instinctive fear of police as he was an escaped convict.
Yeah, exactly.
And concern
I'm afraid. Yeah, because you're fucking running.
and his concern about Raul's gun running scheme in Tennessee.
Raul's gun runner. And Raul's a gun runner now?
Ray drove south toward New Orleans,
Nylons.
planning to contact Raul's associates. He asserted being unaware of Dr. King's death until later in the journey.
He's like, who's Dr. King?
Somewhere south of Memphis, Ray turned on the radio, heard reports of the assassination, and the police searching for his white Mustang, and he was convinced that Raul was involved, and he feared a nationwide manhunt, so he decided to get the fuck out of there and head
Go to Canada.
to Atlanta first and then to Canada, throwing everything out of the car, including his photography.
This is photography
equipment.
because he was an avid photographer on the run from the police.
Yes, that's right.
I had to where's he getting the money for photography equipment? Where's he getting the money to drive anywhere? Where's he getting the money for gas? Like, what the fuck is this money coming from?
Also, why did he refer to himself as a getaway driver? Or
Yeah, that's interesting.
You know?
Yeah, that is actually interesting.
Well, his concept was that Raul was doing a gun running scheme, and he was gonna be the getaway driver of the deal, of which he didn't know it was an assassination.
Not of MLK being killed.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Oh, that might be actually interesting.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna sell some guns.
You just be
You're
ready
gonna be the
in the
driver.
car.
You're gonna be the driver, and then I do the deal, and you don't see anything.
Yeah, and
I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're just
go,
sitting
go,
there
go,
down
go.
the street.
Or maybe there's no, maybe like imagine he's like
Or
sitting
nothing happens.
No, imagine he's sitting in the car. He's like in the car. White dude kills him. Okay, drops the bundle that like somehow they got
White dude or
fingerprints on.
Raul?
A white dude, just a random white dude, and then literally he's like in the car and like he hears gunshots and everyone's freaking out. He's like, "Ugh, drive away,
Drive.
I don't know. He's just like drive, and there's nobody in the car with him. It's just
Right.
him.
Yeah, that's
and he's
right.
like, "What the
Yeah.
fuck? I gotta get out of here." It really pretty easy to him be like, "What? I drove away. Fuck yeah, fucking gunshots, dog.
Yeah,
Fucking
exactly.
get out of here. This is a bad part of town."
So point number 6 now, you guys ready? James Earl Ray's alibi for Raul and other allegedly whatever are not worthy of belief. So James Earl Ray, the alleged assassin, presented an alibi in his defense, and he claimed he was
So did you say assassin?
He did.
The alleged assassin.
the alleged assassin.
Miller Lives.
So he presented an alibi defense, and he claimed he was not present at the crime during the assassination. He initially told his attorney and others that he was blocks away at a service station attempting to fix a flat tire on the white Mustang.
They didn't have like receipts for that. They have receipts for fucking everything.
I know, right?
They have receipts for his coffee and he's like fucking dry cleaning.
Great point. Later, he changed his alibi to a gas station story after replacing his attorney.
Okay. So the attorney's like,
So
gotta be somewhere else.
part of this committee's problem was that his inconsistent alibi raised doubts, especially that he planned to go to trial and then take the stand and then changed it, and then he found it perplexing that he would withhold it from his original attorney, and then it just
Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
he's getting worse.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. The guy is
The worst.
The guy is not helping
Yes.
his case at all.
Yes, that's
He's
right.
definitely like he's ultra flip floppy. He said he pleads guilty, unpleads guilty. He says different shit to different people.
But
he's definitely not.
the committee determined his story to be false when they interviewed the owners of the Texaco station that he said that he went to, and they said they never saw a white Mustang.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they said,
That's the first definitive piece of evidence we've had this entire
So they said
the
no,
first-
Credible
like,
witness.
the only legit evidence
yeah,
here was
yeah.
like,
So Ray then built his defense around a character that he called Raul, whom he claimed directed him through various stages leading up to the murder. This involvement was Raul extended from the purchase of the murder weapon to renting a room at the rooming house in Memphis, where he alleged that a gun deal was going to take place.
this is it's just JFK with like
I
it's
know,
with a different it's
right?
like literally with different
names.
different character names.
Yeah. Additionally, Ray asserted that Raul guided him to buy the binoculars even.
You need to see. Get the binoculars.
Here's the main problem with the committee's. Like, report about not their report, but their problem with the Raul story. There's not one piece of evidence. There's not one witness who says they know a Raul.
True.
There's no witness
Nothing that
to
points
anything.
to a Raul.
There's no Raul anywhere in any.
Nobody saw
witness.
2 people in the Mustang.
There's
Nobody-
nothing.
Yeah.
So there's
I mean,
no
but
thing.
But if you want to say that, there's no evidence that says that he fucking shot MLK
Yeah.
either. It's all
At the beginning of his
probably,
story,
maybe.
There's some
perhaps,
evidence.
Perhaps.
Yeah, at the
You can make
beginning,
an educated guess on.
at the beginning of
The law educated guess.
I know, right?
at the beginning of Ray's story, he says he was a blonde Latin. Later on, he said he was a sandy-haired Latin.
Well, Sandy and blonde,
I know.
similar.
Yes.
If he was like redhead Latin, I'd be like, okay.
The
Like, come
committee's
on.
investigation failed to support any evidence whatsoever of witnesses or anything.
I mean,
regarding
Raul seems like seems like bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree that Raul seems like bullshit. Yeah.
Additionally, if he did purchase it, there were no fingerprints anywhere of this person named Raul, including in the murder weapon.
When you say if he did purchase it, you're talking about Raul?
Well, because Raul, apparently, per Ray, he claimed that Raul told him to buy the binoculars and the rifle.
Well, told him to buy. So he bought it, but he was told to buy by Raul.
Yeah.
So obviously Raul
There's
wouldn't
no
touch
fingerprints on anything. There's no nothing. There's no witnesses.
Because
zero.
Raul instructed him.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm not saying I still don't believe Raul existed. I feel like
I don't either.
Hey guys, it's us again. You ever heard of Patreon? Because we just started one. Exclusive content, Discord, which I'm still figuring out. But but we get to talk.
You can suggest new episodes or just let us know something that we already talked about and you want to get in on the conversation. We're there for you.
We're also coming out with shirts and other merch.
There are 2 ways you can sign up for exclusive content. The first is through Spotify. There's a link in our profile description that links you to the Spotify premium page. And that's only $2.99 a month. And it gets you an ad-free experience and it gets you extra episodes that come out every month. The other way is through our Patreon. All you got to do is go to Patreon and search The Conspiracy Podcast and you'll find us. There are many different levels there, all giving different amounts of content.
Yeah, because guys, this really does help us. We do this virtually for free. So help us help you enjoy yourselves. I feel like maybe I don't know. We'll talk about it later.
I know.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. So, per the stories of James Earl Ray, Raul's physical appearance and nationality changed over the years. And
he's Dominican. He's Cuban. It's like,
yeah, exactly. So that's the problem is they never found anything on them. The committee investigated the testimony of Grace Stevens, a tenant who was at Bessie Brewer's rooming house, who claimed to have seen a man other than Ray leaving the bathroom after the shooting. The committee found numerous conflicting statements from Walden, and her credibility was questioned, including the fact that she was committed to mental institutions. So she was the only witness who did say there was another guy.
Well, see, that's pretty like... See, to me, that's a little fucked up. She's not credible, but the Texaco guy is? They're like, unquestionably.
She's not creditable to me. If she ends up in a mental institution, you just make some shit up.
Well, how do you know
how do you know fucking crazy?
No, but how do you know Texaco guy hasn't been in a mental? They were like,
because he wasn't.
You think they looked?
He wasn't.
You think they looked? They literally asked him. They were like, you didn't see a white Mustang, did you? He's like, I don't think so. They're like, perfect. Shut up. Fucking done.
Moving on.
Yeah, next witness.
I know, but then the next witness is fucking literally a crazy girl.
How do you know she's crazy?
Because she was committed to a mental institution.
Does that make you crazy?
Yes, it does.
Remember we talked about
the majority.
Remember we talked about the Baker Act? Remember we talked about the Baker Act?
It's an educated guess that you're crazy.
So since we live in Florida, I can call the authorities and tell them that Jorge's going to hurt himself, and he's
I know,
been
but this
talking
is
crazy.
This is back in '67, not 202024.
67, shit was way more sketch back then.
There's no Baker Act back then.
They wouldn't let blacks sit on the fucking front of the bus, bro. You're gonna think they're like,
but this is a white. This is a white crazy girl.
All you gotta say is there's a black guy that's crazy.
They're like,
come get him.
They're like, shoot on sight.
We'll be right there.
Fire it well.
Yeah,
shoot on sight.
We'll be there in 18 seconds.
We're already here.
We are watching you now.
We'll be there in 18 seconds. No, Jorge made a great point. She was white. So she was a white crazy lady. They're like,
okay, and then point 7.
James Earl Ray knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily pled guilty
to the first-degree murder of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Well,
see how we did that together, by the way?
Yeah, that was a team effort. Yeah. No, but the thing is, I don't understand, like, they don't know anything at all. Everything is fucking circumstantial and, like, probably maybe, but they're like, 100% certainty, without coercion, knowingly, intelligently, voluntarily, he pled guilty. Like, how do they have all this fucking data on this shit?
There's a basic recap. So in 1969, James Earl Ray pled guilty to the first-degree murder of Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Negotiations between Ray's attorney, which is Percy Foreman, and Shelby County Attorney General resulted in a plea deal sparing Ray from the death penalty and sentencing him to 99 years instead.
No, see, that's what that's exactly what I said. I was like, it's really easy for them. You're fucking dead.
Yeah.
They'll kill you, you fucking piece of shit. You want to die? plead guilty.
3 days later, Ray recanted, seeking a new trial. After Judge Battle died, Jay filed a formal petition for a new trial, and it was denied in May of 69. Ray pursued relief in federal courts, but he faced denials and appeals. The Supreme Court also rejected
Several
his request.
times, right?
Oh, like throughout the years. Like,
Yeah.
And after multiple
Supreme Court.
and after multiple escape attempts.
And the Supreme Court. I know, right? That didn't help. That didn't help your case,
Doesn't
bro.
help your case at all,
Yeah.
dude.
So Ray's claims included conflicts of interest among his attorneys, inadequate investigation by Foreman, his original attorney, coercion by Foreman and the federal government, and his belief that a guilty plea wouldn't prevent a new trial, but it would just get him out of being the death penalty.
I mean, I can, only reason I say I don't know what happened there. I don't really have much information, but I can definitely see in today's current justice system that probably happens a lot. Mm-hmm. They're looking for quick. They're looking for quick trials. The prosecutor wants to get a win. Give me the dub. Yeah. And look, we'll give you a little lenient thing.
So they do the plea. What's it called? Plea bargain.
Plea bargain or plea deal. That was
plea deal.
Especially if you're like, if a case looks bad, I can see a lawyer being like, dude, he's like, I don't want to
take the plea deal.
He's like, I'm getting paid like shitty government money, like to take the deal.
It makes sense.
Take the deal.
It makes sense.
The deal.
It makes sense. Also, in the innate about humans is you want to survive, and so
of course,
if you think you can maybe get parole, maybe get good behavior in 20 years,
it's like it's either that or you're dead.
Yeah, you're gonna take it.
Do you want to die? No,
yeah,
of course not.
Take it. Especially if you don't believe it.
Yeah, no, totally.
I mean, or if the evidence is so stacked though on his.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's all circumstantial.
It's all bullshit evidence, dude.
I know.
If you took that to trial today, they would literally walk.
Fingerprints.
He'd be walking free tonight.
What about the fingerprints?
His fingerprints are all over it.
So,
but it's
not circumstantial.
No.
So you got fingerprints on the gun. You got fingerprints on the newspaper.
No, but the thing is, his fingerprints are on something you can't confirm that's the murder weapon. So. My fingerprints are on it too. Doesn't matter. You can't tell me. You can't prove that it killed him.
From a litigation standpoint, you don't know that he put it there.
And also, like,
right?
Yeah, no, of course.
Like there was just a bundle in a random spot.
Yeah, there's no proof that it was him. And also, I think there's a statistic. If you can't find the specific murder weapon, your odds of convicting the person are
super low.
So low, so much lower because you can't fucking prove that they killed. Yeah, you can't prove that they killed them. Like. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure. I was near the hotel.
But if you think about it, I mean, such a high-profile figure.
There's a lot of pressure.
Somebody's head's got to go on a pike.
No, there's pressure. Dude, the pressure is like stacking. The fucking people are rioting. We gotta fucking kill. Someone's gotta die. Someone's gotta burn.
So true.
So I'm gonna give you a little teaser for next time. Yeah. So the next episode we're gonna do, and it probably will wrap things up with MLK.
Yeah.
But it's the conspiracy theories that exist of what happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are some good ones out there.
The purpose of our podcast.
So I know, finally. I love
3 hours later.
I love the slow burn. Like everybody's here and they're like, oh, I don't want to listen to all the data.
I know, like information.
Finally. So there's the involvement of the FBI.
The fucking scumbags.
The government in general.
Martin Luther King
agencies.
Here's just a little piece of information. Martin Luther King Jr. was the most monitored individual up until that point in the history of the FBI.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
And
CIA.
Yeah. There's also James Earl Ray as a patsy. Very, very similar to the Lee Harvey.
I'm telling you, this is literally if we change the names and locations, you would literally be JFK.
Same story.
It's the same exact, the fucking same exact story. He was a fucking up and comer, and he was
straight out of the CIA playbook.
The guy was in the military. Like he was. Everything is the fucking same. It's the same. Yeah. He traveled all over the world.
There's another theory that it's a Nazi white supremacist group that wanted to take out MLK.
Yeah, that sounds like bullshit.
There's another theory about the mob.
There's another theory about the mob. Yep. That's right. There's another theory about the military-industrial complex, which is him saying
like being against a war.
Yeah.
Well, see, my thing is like,
and that is.
No, that's legit.
That's pretty.
That's valid.
See, in my view, I'm like, who has the?
It's got some legs.
Like, Who is affected the most from MLK?
Right.
Obviously, the government is. turmoil.
There's
in
the civil rights movement, and there's the anti-government or anti-war.
So it's obviously the military-industrial complex and the government itself are the two most effective things. The white supremacists, they're just dicks. It's not like they're like,
No, but back then it was not just white supremacists. It was the racism was everywhere. Everyone.
Yeah, no, but I get it. But like, I can't see them, like, yeah, let's kill him, but I don't want to lose the plantations. It's like, maybe we'll still call him the N-word, and then it'll be good. We'll feel good about ourselves, Like, they're just like regular people, but they're dicks, as opposed to like the government's. We can't have any more fucking riots going on.
For sure.
And the military's like, we need this war, goddammit. We had this fucking defense contract with Raytheon, and we gotta pump out the ships.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is like that you still had some high racism. So it could have been anybody that was so just racially charged that it's like, I'm gonna take this guy out.
No, but then they're gonna be like, I'm gonna say my name's Raul. I'm gonna have blonde hair, Raul, blue eyes, and I'm gonna be like, don't worry, I'm Cuban. It's all good. That's question. We're light skinned. We're light skinned there. And then they're gonna buy this gun. Okay. Track it. Yeah, good. Put your fingerprints on it. Ooh, good. Okay.
I know.
We're gonna like deep dive into this next episode.
You want some Schlitz?
Schlitz. Schlitz beer. I gotta look into that.
Schlitz?
I gotta look into that Schlitz beer. So there you go. There's also the multiple shooters, but that leads into
there's only one shot though.
No, I know, but if he was in the room and he was shot from a different angle.
He's like holding the gun. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
shit?
I mean, it's just different ideas. And now, but that could have been any of those people that we already talked about.
Okay.
Meaning it could be the mafia, and then it's a hired hitman, and then the person does a different angle. And then they plant the weapon and all that sort of thing. So there you go. That's episode 2 of Martin Luther King, guys.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm like fucking... I'm like shaking with anticipation. Like this, like such fucking bullshit. Literally, this case would not hold up today. It's bullshit.
The 60s were wild,
dude. What a time to be alive.
And Malcolm X just got killed a couple of years earlier.
I know.
You know? And then RFK was killed. Right.
They're just killing everyone.
RFK was killed a year later.
They were killing everybody back then.
1 year.
Yeah.
Notice how everyone's going to get
RFK or JFK, Malcolm X, MLK, RFK.
They're just killing. They're killing everybody.
Yeah,
and no one's like piecing it together. Like, sounds completely normal.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Every important figure of every major movement's getting murdered. Like, what the fuck?
It's crazy. All right, well, there you go, guys. Let us know your comments, feedback, all the good things.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you next Tuesday.
That's right.
All right, guys.
Nighty night, motherfuckers.